That thing is so last season. Shed that skin and don't go back looking for that skin. Once you've shed it, why do you even need it? You don't need to recall it. You don't need to think about it. You don't need to rehash it. Like, it's dead skin. God has me in this space where he's wiping my slate clean here in my mind. And another way to say this is he's helping me to release the remembrance or memories of my sin, memories of my past sin. So we don't realize at times that we're still holding on to past versions of ourselves in our memory, and we're constantly comparing our now to then. I'm going to give you an example. Like, I have a vlog coming out. I'm super excited about it. But there was so much breakthrough in that vlog that I would later experience, or God would later give me language for, surrounding remarriage or marriage. How I saw myself. You'll see in the video. But another thing, like I just mentioned in the video that I just made as well, another video about sensuality. And we'll be quick to be like, oh, well, I'm not like I was then. You're already giving a disclaimer about the fact that you've changed, or you're bringing up your past self in your now moment. And God is saying, you don't need to do that. So he's been catching me, if you will, in a lie a lot just within the past couple of days, because I did not notice that I'll bring up who I used to be as a way to introduce who I am now. And we don't need to do that. Like, who you are now is enough. You don't have to speak on your past to validate your present. It's not necessary at all, because what you're doing subconsciously is resurrecting your old self while you're going through a new birth. Like, which one, beloved? Which one are you wanting to live right now? You know, the old you or the new you? Because we cannot resurrect them both. You know, I mean, it just doesn't work that way. You have to choose. So every time I'm recalling who I was to introduce who I am now, that's essentially what I'm doing. And God is like, yeah, we're not doing that. And, you know, maybe this is something that you needed to hear. You don't have to bring up who you used to be, because only people from your past care. And if they're in your past, they don't matter. Everything that you need and all that you are starts today. Who you are today is enough. Your new life starts today. Who's with you now? Yeah, that's all that matters. The only people who are worried and concerned about your past are people from your past. And if they're not here in your present, then they don't make or break your future. So yeah, kill it. Slay that. Okay. Yeah, slay that, baby. Slay that. We don't play that. Slay that, because we don't play that. To give you context for this, God has us in 1 Samuel 17, where the widow has taken a lot in and she's fed him, right? All on faith. But while Elijah is there, her son dies. And she says, you know, what do I have to do with you? Have you come here to call my sin to remembrance? And so many questions, right, come up like, what you mean your sin to remembrance? Because what does Elijah know about your past sin? And what is the sin? You're a widow, right? But clearly there were other aspects to this, because you can see that she felt alone. You can see that this is like an orphan type spirit, where you're dealing with a child who's fatherless and a widow, right, who's husbandless and also fatherless. So she doesn't have community. She's seeking, or was searching, if you will, in her heart for community. So when Elijah came to her and said, hey, you know, provision, this reciprocity, if you will, that became her community. But that's one side. That's a whole nother conversation, another Bible study, another day. But aside from that, the remembrance aspect, that's where the Holy Spirit started to download in me. Anytime you reference your past to introduce who you are now, you start seeing or feeling as if things are not prospering for you right now. I need you to think about how you're resurrecting the dead and wondering why your current blessings are dying. You understand what I'm saying? Every time you rehash who you were, you recall what you did, you recall your sin, essentially what you're doing is slaying your present. You're slaying the gift of now. So when her son started to be, right? It's like you're rehashing or resurrecting your dead self, the past version of you, and then you're wondering why your present is dying. Make it make sense. So yeah, like, that's just the word. I feel like I could share that with you guys. God gave me correction, so I'm sharing. Sharing is caring. Your sister Leia. Okay.